Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Morning.
Morning. And Nick is here.
Hey, good morning.
Hey. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And Gal said he most likely will not be joining us. Got other plans. Have fun, Gal. So what's happening? Katie,
Well-
you went to a con.
Yeah, last week I went to the East Coast Game Conference in downtown Raleigh, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Met some really cool people. Sold some of my designs, my map designs, and there's a ton of universities there and a bunch of different companies. Got to see their cool stuff, and yeah, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun meeting people and talking to them, and like there were high school kids there and they are so talented now. They teach game design in high school and I was blown away with the stuff
They
that they're learning.
teach game design in high school?
Yeah,
Wow.
like they're there's a charter school, I think in Asheboro, North Carolina. Their teachers there teach game design and they were showing me some of the stuff the kids are making and it blew me away. I was like, holy crap. If I had this when I was in high school, like that would have been crazy. So it was cool. It was very encouraging and it made me want to learn new stuff.
Did you have a chance? I mean, do you think you walked all over the place?
No, I didn't see everything. And there was a lot of talks and stuff. And I would love to have gone to them, but I was there to man my
Yeah.
booth and sell my stuff. So on the plus side, I was really busy. On the downside, I couldn't really go to the talks and
Did
stuff because I was so
you
busy.
did you gain any knowledge, technical, from seeing other people? I'm sure you gained a lot
Yeah,
of.
well, less of like tangible knowledge and more of networking. Like I had some really good conversation with some folks that were in the industry, and we hooked up on LinkedIn, and so I think I'm going to continue discussions with them, just talking about different software and different things, and it was very fascinating. I have a storytelling, graphic design heavy background, and a lot of them have a technical background with computer and game design software stuff, and so we were swapping ideas and stuff. So it was a really good discussion.
Very nice.
Was there anything that you saw or heard that surprised you?
Um, see, the games are really cool. So there were a lot of people, like small indie studios or even one man teams that were promoting their games. Those are really cool. Uh, the booth next to me was actually was a nonprofit game design studio, and really it's a professor out of West Virginia University who started this kind of program, and she was super nice and was talking about how she helps the kids and helps the students, but then also helps industry professionals that just want to have fun and make a game. And the other booth on the other side of me was also a non for profit. I don't think it was in the game design studio, but it was like an outreach program where they outreach to communities with games, and they help they'll help they I think they make games geared towards helping the community, and then also go to like the soup kitchens and stuff, and they help with IT stuff for them. Like overheard a conversation where the guy went into a soup kitchen in North Carolina, and he helped reconfigure their computers so that they'd be more efficient, and stuff like that, giving back to the community. That was pretty cool to see.
Oh,
So
Cool.
nice.
yeah.
I was just paying attention to your chat. Does that planter on top of the computer ever leak?
No, it's a
Mm.
solid base, and it doesn't have holes on the bottom for
So
like just
you never overwatered.
no.
Okay.
Also, this is a what they call, I think, a pathos plant, and so like they're really hardy plants. Like you can go a really long time without watering
Okay.
it,
All right.
and
Yeah, but one time if water starts coming down and leaking there, you
I'm
may regret it.
it's okay. This is my old computer, so
Oh,
playing
but
with
yeah, but
fire.
you're using it.
I mean, not right now, but it doesn't matter. Knock on wood, but it's not gonna leak. Now, what
Oh,
would suck is if this pot decided that it was done being a pot and just cracked and like, bleh, but then I'd have dirt everywhere, and that
yeah,
would be
that's dirt.
another
That's okay.
problem.
Oh,
No, I'm playing with fire, like living on the edge, putting plants and organic matter on top of electrical equipment. Nothing's more exciting.
yeah, yeah.
But you're making a
Uh,
conscious decision to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's so I could see it. It's so I could see
Yeah.
like when I'm on this camera and I could see my plant, and I'm like, yeah, that's a nice plant.
I don't have a real green thumb, but I've potted the one plant into 4 different pots that I keep them all in the house during the winter. And then in the summer, we distribute them outside, but I keep one in my office all the time. And I
Uh,
had a pot, like you said, Amnon, that I didn't realize would leak.
mhm.
And it didn't drop it on any electronics, but it dropped it on my laminate floor. And for a while, it was all swollen up. It did go down, but
Mm.
I thought I was going to have to replace the floor.
well, maybe I should lift my pot up to see.
Yeah. Do a test. Get a little measuring cup and keep pouring it until it leaks, and you know how much you can put in.
All right, so let's jump into this here now. Debugging a faulty program can be frustrating. So why not let AI do it for you? That's what a developer that goes by Bio Bootloader did by creating Wolverine, a program that can give Python programs regenerative healing abilities. Run your scripts with it, and when they crash, GPT-4 edits them and explains what went wrong, wrote BioBootloader in a tweet that accompanied the demonstration video. Even if you have many bugs, it'll repeatedly rerun until everything is fixed. That's very interesting. Um, there was an article about GPT uh, and how the code that it writes is not secured at all. And it's kind of I don't think I saved it, but they said that the if you ask ChatGPT to write you a program, it will the code that comes out is very very insecure.
Wait,
Uh,
what does that mean? Insecure?
I have no idea.
Like I understand like security wise, but
I guess it has something to do with cross. Uh, I don't know. No, I'm thinking web cross site. It's just not. They said that it's not secure.
Who was they?
I think that was. Wait a second. Here it is. ChatGPT not only produces mostly insecure code, but also fails to alert users to its inadequacy, despite being capable of pointing out its shortcomings. Amid the frenzy academic interest in possibilities and limitation of large language models, 4 researchers affiliate with University de Quebec in Canada have delved into the security of code generated by ChatGPT. In a pre-press paper titled "How Secure is Code Generated by ChatGPT?" the 4 computer scientists answer the question with research that can be summarized as not very.
Yeah, and I think if those researchers went to any development shop, they would say the exact same thing.
Okay.
I mean, that is the most that is so
Yeah, it's
ambiguous.
ambiguous.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it's ambiguous, and it's likely just coming from a bunch of anti-AI researchers that, oh my God, the code is so insecure. So if you're writing a Python script to do a task on your computer,
Right.
these jackasses think it's insecure.
Well, they said that the code is
I mean, if they're
insecure.
not using it to make a single sign-on. I doubt people are using it to make a single sign-on authentication system.
I think what the thing that's interesting here is mostly insecure code, but also fails to alert users to its
Yeah, but I don't know what that
inadequacy.
means.
Yeah.
You could make the argument that your house is mostly insecure because what protects somebody from stealing your house is a freaking deadbolt that's made in China that you bought on Amazon. But that's an inaccurate
Good
statement.
point. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you could. It is mostly insecure. I guess
I'm not
very simple. A very simple. Any sort of simple heat source could easily melt the deadbolt. That just seems like such a bullshit point to make.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Well,
Yeah, I
You
mean,
see what I'm saying? I mean it's so because I don't have an electric fence around my house or a gun, a turret that mows people down when they come up to the front door. It's mostly insecure. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Nick Craig, owner of an unsecured property.
Well, let's see. I bet you if you push hard enough on the fence in the back, the door will just swing open.
sure.
Does that mean I'm having a mostly insecure property? I don't.
I
don't know.
I'm not a programmer, so
And I think it. Yeah, and
I
I
know what it is. It's insecure because it needs confidence. That's what it is.
Now, what the insecurity side of it could very well be that the AI is not at a point where it is training itself to make best security precautions or procedures. But I need more than just it potentially insecure, whatever phrase that they used.
It would
It's
be
not
nice
like
if they actually said, here are 3 things that we see
now, yeah,
in the
that's what
software that
that
says, well, this port is open and subject to attack based on this. And this particular driver or whatever they use for this port has been proven to be open to malicious attacks. That would be a good way to point it out.
What I find so crazy about it, though, is the AI code generation that's happening, Spence, isn't even that kind of stuff. It's not developing executable. Now, I'm sure it can, but people are using it for scripting. I need a recursion loop that will do X, Y, Z, and these are the statements. That's what it's generating. I think that's a majority of what people are using it for. Now, there are, I'm sure, fringe cases. Well, I don't know. We covered a story a couple of weeks ago where people from Samsung or LG were using it, and that's a problem. But it's not like this thing is generating entire websites with logon systems and everything. That's your BB&T is not using Chat GPT to develop its new landing.
Why not?
This whole thing seems to be so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I used AI a lot this past week. I had it do a couple of things. I had it write some invitations to some events, some political fundraisers, and some things like that. And it's phenomenal.
So
It's perfect.
did you just tell it what to do and used it, or
I literally said,
but
generate a.
my question is, after it generated it, you did check it. You did make
I
sure.
checked it and I modified it. It was a little longer than I wanted to, but I went into it and I said, write a meeting for create a invite for the April meeting of the Lower Cape Fear Young Republicans. And its response was, please join us for the April meeting of the Lower Cape Fear Young Republicans at Dockside, a beautiful waterfront venue where we will come together to discuss important matters and engage in a lively political discourse. This meeting presents a unique opportunity to connect with fellow like-minded individuals who share our Republican values and to stay informed on the latest updates and developments within our party.
And
And
it created that just from the short phrase that you did?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you exactly what the prompt was. It was, yeah, let me see. Log in and look.
wow.
I mean, it's in, yeah, let's see. My prompt was create an invite to the Lower Cape Fear excuse me. Create an invite to the Lower Cape Fear Young Republicans April meeting at Dockside. That was,
And that's what it did?
That's what it did.
Wow.
And it did one that was way longer. I'll post the whole thing in chat.
Yeah.
This was the actual,
Very nice.
It doesn't show the whole thing properly, but yeah, it created the whole thing. It created a mock agenda for me. Agenda, opening remarks, report from party officials, which is what we will do. Guest speakers, Q&A, network and socializing. Kindly RSVP to RSVP date, RSVP contact. Yeah.
I'm going to try something like create a parody article about Hollywood. And see what it
That's the
comes up
thing
with.
is, you know, it's great it's great for things like this.
Yeah.
Is it great for everything? No,
Not yet.
not yet. And it will, and there are certain things it won't ever be great at. There are some things that, you know, there are some things that long term it will, you know, you still need some inherent human knowledge for.
Well,
I just, yeah, I don't know. The fear porn, that's the only way I can describe it. The fear porn over AI is exhausting. And
That's
everybody
okay.
is just freaking the hell out over AI. Like I saw a funny meme today or yesterday. It was it said, you know, what's gonna happen? Here's the good news, guys. If the AI ever takes over, we can do this. And it was a guy taking a garden hose to his computer. A way to shut down the AI. God, if it somehow gets out of control. So yeah, I don't know. Are there issues with it? Sure, we talked about it last week. There's huge issues in regards to
and there will be continuous.
what we were talking music and generation of music and intellectual property. Are there issues there? Sure, there are always going to be issues. Like there's issues with everything else that we deal with in our society. I just don't know why this is so. Why this one is the one that is so unique.
Oh.
Because I don't think it is. I'll get off my soapbox though.
All right. Well, let's take that story away. It's gone.
Right.
All right. Listen to this. You, I guess I get out of the three of us here. I think I'm the only one that never used such video editors.
Switch the camera over, Emma.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Video editors are flocking to DaVinci. DaVinci Resolve in droves, marking a major paradigm shift in the editing landscape that we haven't seen since the dreadful launch of Final Cut Pro X drove users to Adobe Premiere Pro. Resolve has taken a convoluted path to becoming the main rival of the world's biggest nonlinear editing tool. More a conglomeration of tools than a single program. Resolve came through some acquisitions Blackmagic made when creating a broadcast and sign ecosystem comprised of an editing tool, a color correction tool, an audio editor, and an effects tool. Resolve is essentially multiple programs that all integrate so seamlessly that they function as a single application. The color correction tool in Resolve are particularly well regarded, and many films and shows were color graded in Resolve, even if they were edited in another program. The same applies to Fairlight, the audio component of Resolve, the go-to, the go tool for many of Hollywood's, the go-to tool for many of Hollywood's most prominent audio engineers. That I
What's the
don't
story
do
again?
the what?
The story is people are moving to DaVinci
Moving
Resolve.
in flocking to DaVinci
Does it
Resolve.
have any were there numbers with it?
They are not showing number, but they're saying
No.
marking a major paradigm shift in the editing landscape that we haven't seen since the dreadful launch of Final Cut Pro X,
Hmm.
when people just moved to it. So now everybody's apparently are going to DaVinci Resolve.
I've never used DaVinci, but I've used Premiere Pro, which is Adobe's video
Right.
editing stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm curious if it's if DaVinci is a cheaper alternative, um, for because with the Adobe software, unless you get it through your work, you have to pay a monthly subscription, which
Mhm.
I could think most software nowadays is monthly subscription. And to get the whole suite, the creative suite, I think it's like 60 or $75 a month. And but to get just one program like Premiere, I think it's $20 a month for a personal license. I don't know what DaVinci is, but I'm curious if they offer like a cheap.
DaVinci DaVinci is free for the base unit, which does a lot, and the most expensive unit outside of like an actual like movie studio is $300 one time.
Oh, see, there you go. That's why.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So it's easy. It has a an easy accessibility point because the people
yeah.
that are wanting to learn video editing aren't going to go to Adobe because they have a 7-day free trial, and so they can do a free alternative. There you go.
It's a smart move. I mean, you know, you mentioned Katie, or I don't know if you mentioned it on here. You and I were chatting this week, and you mentioned how many high school kids were at this video game at this game con.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're a high school and you're having a video class, you're whatever you'd want to call video production or whatever, and you're the teacher for that. You have to pitch, okay, here's the class, this is what the resources are going to look like. What if the option is a gazillion Adobe licenses at 30 or 40 or $50 a month versus a free copy of DaVinci Resolve? It's
Yep.
a no-brainer. And then those students will learn Resolve, then they go to college, maybe they go forward with that, maybe they don't, but now now they know Resolve enough to be dangerous. It's a
Yep.
very smart approach. That's what Google's done so well with the Chrome OS. They get into these schools for nothing, charge them hardly anything for the accounts, and then now you've got an entire generation of people going into the workforce. And if they said, well, what do you want to use, Office 365 or Google Drive? They're choosing Google Drive every time
Mhm.
because they're already experts in it. They've been using it since they were 12 years old in high school or middle school or whatever it is. I mean, it's
And
just a very, very smart move.
what also add to the smartness is so by targeting not only the young people with this software, like get them familiar with it, but they'll make free content. So like another so when I'm trying to pick a software, um sometimes I lean towards software that has more of a community support to it. And like if I can go on YouTube and find tutorials on how to use the software, I'm more inclined to use that. And so with these kids that are in college that are picking up these programs, a lot of them need to drum up portfolio pieces, right? So they're going to learn it, and maybe they'll start blogs about it, or maybe they'll to document their progress. So there'll be a lot of free resources out there
Right. Just give
to
it
support
time.
that.
Yeah.
Well, DaVinci Resolve's been around forever. This is their 18th edition of Resolve. I mean,
Oh,
Blackmagic's been making DaVinci since the late 90s or something. I mean, DaVinci was I think if I remember correctly, the original versions of DaVinci weren't even they were software on a physical editor. I mean, Blackmagic's been in the video game for quite some time. That's who makes it, Emma.
okay. But I never used it, so I didn't know.
Yeah. Let me
Interesting.
see how long they've been around. It's been the original DaVinci came out in 2003.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been out for Been out for quite some time.
All right. And I see you mentioned Imgur in the chat. Is that
Oh
how
yeah, I
you,
posted a link.
huh? Yeah.
I said I posted a link. Yeah.
Online image hosting service Imgur is updating its terms of service on May 15th to prohibit nudity and sexual explicit content, among other things.
Isn't that what Tumblr did too?
I don't know. I never use any of these services.
Katie, didn't Tumblr do that like a couple years ago? Wasn't that a big
Yeah,
controversy?
yeah, they banned porn and porn bots, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
that had to do because they were trying to get on Apple iOS or whatever, like so for the mobile,
Oh,
and
Mhm.
and you're not allowed to have 18 plus content. I think to be on to get into the Apple Store.
Hmm.
well, it says the news arrived in an email sent to Imgurians. The changes have since been outlined on the company's community rules page, which reads, Imgur welcomes a diverse audience. We don't want to create a bad experience for someone that might stumble across explicit images, nor is it in our company ethos to support explicit content. So some sexualized posts are not allowed.
So
It's
this is always how this works. You update your terms of service. Do
right.
you actually enforce it?
Right. You're supposed to enforce it.
Presumably. But do you actually enforce it? I mean, that's always the $1 million question.
Yeah. Now, if they're doing it for a specific reason that they
Yeah,
know that
maybe.
if and they don't enforce it, then they fail
Sure.
because it's
Yeah,
not.
or there's pressure coming down from, somebody or something, and
Well,
who knows? I don't
yeah,
know. Imgur has there's
you've been
back
using it for
probably
years.
but I don't use it anymore. This is the first time I've used it in
Oh,
months. There Imgur maybe 5 or 6 years ago was like everything. Practically every image you saw on the internet that wasn't posted on Facebook or Twitter was an Imgur hot link. And there's so many other photo sites now that it's still incredibly popular, but it's not like it was.
well. And
What do you use besides Imgur now?
Honestly, I don't when I'm sending people things, I'm posting them through Discord.
Yeah,
So
same.
I'm not uploading, back in the day, you'd be sharing images on Skype and stuff like that, and you'd post an Imgur link so that everybody could see it because the photo upload ability was limited.
Mhm.
But with Discord, which is pretty much how I chat with people, I post them directly, and if I'm not posting it directly, I'm sending it in an email, and it's in there as an attachment anyway.
Yeah,
So I'm not.
I've noticed the same thing. The only time I really need to do image sharing that isn't directly on Discord is if I'm communicating through a private message on a different website or
Like
whatever.
even Twitter, for example, if you and I are DMing on Twitter, I can upload the file directly to Twitter, and it's not a problem, which is typically what I do.
With no
Same thing with Facebook.
limits, no size limit.
I mean, not that I've ever hit. I
Wow.
mean, you take a photo on your iPhone, the things like a photo will be 30 megabytes,
Mhm.
and
Hey,
I don't have a problem.
do you remember Photo Bucket or did you ever use it?
Let me look at their
Yeah,
logo.
sounds
It sounds very
familiar.
familiar.
Photo Bucket was like 15 years ago was
Yes.
the image
Yeah.
website and everybody jumped ship because they started charging and then everybody switched to Imager and now I don't know what people are using because I like we just were talking about with Discord. But yeah, Photo Bucket was the bee's knees 15 years ago.
I use this software called ShareX to take screenshots on my computer. Um, and they have a bunch of destinations that you can upload to them. Let me see what they are. Imgur, Image Shack, Flickr, Photo Bucket. They still have
They
Google.
still
Google Google Drive too. A lot of folks are just sharing stuff. If you have the Google Drive app on your computer, which I do, you can have folders that sync in real time. So you can have your screenshots dump into a folder and they're automatically in your Drive account and you can share them that way too. But yeah, I just don't, honest to God, this link I just put in here, I couldn't tell you the last time I used Imgur and actually uploaded something.
Well, maybe that's why they're trying to do something new.
Well, it doesn't sound like they're doing anything new. It sounds like they're
No, I mean,
taking away.
that's the thing. Okay, we need to do something, or we're going
Yeah,
away.
you're right. Maybe it's a little PR stunt. You're right.
Yeah. All right.
You're right.
Sorry. This is kind of new. With Maximum PC and Mac Life's abandonment of print, the dead tree era of computer journalism is officially over. It lasted almost half a century and was quite the run. Harry McCracken writes, the April issue of Maximum PC and Mac Life are currently on sale at a newsstand near you, assuming there's a newsstand near you. They are the last print issues of these two computer magazines, both which dated to 1996. There were so many computer magazines at one time. I mean, you could go in and there were shelves and shelves of computer magazines. And I'm not talking about 90s. I'm talking about even in the 80s. And now apparently there's nothing.
Why would there be?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they probably would do better with a billboard, a digital billboard that ran their articles.
I mean, you know,
Next to a bus stop.
I always thought about it in the most basic terms. You have a magazine that's printed and there was a typo or there was a completely bad story in there. You can take it back. That's
And
it.
then you wasted the money.
If it's
Yeah, but that was
online,
part. That was part of print.
yeah, you post it online, go change it, put it back.
It's funny that a magazine or newspaper, whatever, about technology is getting replaced by technology.
Well, they've been publishing online for
Yeah,
years.
both.
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh yeah, a lot of them, and we're doing both. You could get PC Magazine, and you can go to PC Magazine online. There was a lot of them.
You know, what I saw, a little bit random, but there is a city um that teamed up with the public library, and they put a short story kiosk in the airport. And they were having big success where people at the airport who were bored or whatever went up to this kiosk, pushed a button, and like a receipt came out, and the receipt had a short story on it
Huh.
that they would take on the plane and read, and it was a huge success, and people were doing it. I wonder if you could do that with like the news articles or whatever. If you know, a little fluff piece about, I guess in this case, computer technology or whatever, and somebody would be like, okay, cool, I need a little something to read, and they push the button and it prints out the article, and then they could take it with them. I know you're like, well, you could just have your phone. Yes, but they had success with these little pieces of paper that had short stories from the library on them. So I
People
don't know.
still like that crap.
Yeah.
They do.
I know, but the way you said that.
They do. People love. I mean, you were at a you were at a trade show all week. There was people still go about physical business cards, and I mean, I'm guilty of them. I've got them laying all over my freaking desk. They're such a
Yeah.
waste. They're such a waste. I have to use an app on my phone. I don't have to. I use this app called Biz Connect, which allows me to scan all these cards in, because if not, it's just totally freaking useless.
Yeah, I didn't have business cards. I had a QR. So
Yeah.
I printed out a laminate product sheet, and then in the corner I had a QR code that linked to my social media.
Perfect.
So
I
so
mean, that makes
everybody
sense.
yeah, everybody came up like, "Do you have a business card?" And I'm like, "No, but I have this QR code that you could scan," and then they would scan it on their phone and it'd be fine.
Boom. Yeah.
I'm on your muted.
Technology.
There you go.
And here's another one that the same spirit. This is from a Netflix email. For 25 years, it's been our extraordinary privilege to mail movie nights to our members all across America. On September 29th, 2023, we will ship our final iconic red envelope. While times have changed since our first shipment in March 1998, our goal has remained the same: to provide you with the access to the broadest collection of movies and shows possible, delivered directly to your door with no due dates or late fees.
Mm.
As the DVD business continues to shrink, it's going to become increasingly difficult to achieve that goal. In our final season, we'll continue providing you the best service possible all the way to the very last ship.
I didn't know they were still doing it.
They're still doing it. And actually, there was another article that I read that was later on that, what is the other service? Red?
Red
Oh,
Bubble?
Red.
No.
No, Red, the movie thing, that the kiosk that's
Yeah.
in
Red
Walmart and all that
Box.
stuff.
Red
They're-
Yeah,
Box.
Red Box.
They want to buy that.
Sure, they do.
Yeah, they want to buy this so they can add it to their
I'm sure.
customers. Yep. So there's still, apparently there's still people that go and check out DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it all the
remember
time.
that.
See it all the time at the Walmarts and
Yep.
Targets.
I,
Yep.
I remember being excited to get the DVD in the mail when I saw that red envelope. I'm like, yes, my movie came in back in the day.
I don't know that I ever had a Netflix subscription, a physical Netflix subscription. I think it was
Yeah.
always,
That's how it was only at the beginning.
no, I know.
Yeah.
I think it was 3. You could get 3 a week or 3 per order or something. 3 movies.
I don't remember, but yeah, it was a big deal. Okay, let's go over there. They got and let's go see this, because people were getting different ones. Yeah. Here's another good news. Apple in iOS 17 will, for the first time, allow iPhone users to download apps hosted outside of its official app store, according to Bloomberg. Otherwise known as sideloading, the change would allow customers to download apps without needing to use the App Store, which would mean developers wouldn't need to pay Apple 15 to 30% fees. The European Union Digital Market Act, which went into effect on November 1st, 2022, requires gatekeeper companies to open up their services and platforms to other companies and developers. The DMA will have a big impact on Apple's platforms, and it could result in Apple making major changes to the App Store. To the App Store, Messages, FaceTime, Siri, and more. Apple is planning to implement sideloading support to comply with the new European regulations by next year, according to Gurman from Bloomberg. That's interesting, and I understand that's the EU is requiring that, but I don't know if they're going to be able to stop, like to say, okay, that's in the EU, but not in the States.
Why would they call it side loading if in fact you're loading it from the App Store?
You
'Cause
don't?
then it's not side loading.
No, you don't load it from the App Store.
No, but they called it side loading support. Side loading was the term that came out of the Android world
Right.
when you would find a way to put the program on there that didn't come from the Google store,
Right.
right?
That's the same story here that they're going to allow it from outside,
So, but
which
they
is
say
sideloading.
they have to make changes to the App Store. Well, why? Because if
Uh,
you could allow side loading, people are going to side load. They're not going to
yeah.
go to the App Store to
Well,
get it.
I'm sure most people will continue using the App Store because that's the people that are in the ecosystem.
Well, that
But
and the vetting that goes on.
yeah, well,
You're
I
going to
don't
have a
know
lot
about
of
the vetting. Come on.
unauthorized users coming on, or programs potentially
Well,
that.
that they've I mean, we saw a lot of programs that were on the App Store, both app stores that were riddled with malware and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So the vetting is not what it used to be.
I'm not defending Apple by any
Yeah,
means. I realize they're bowing to a regulation, not because they're doing it
of
because
course.
it's good. I'm sure they're very reluctant
Because
to
it's
do
good.
this because it's a lot of their revenue comes from sharing the
But it'll
99
be
cents. The program I buy for 99 cents, they're getting 20 cents out of it. So
yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of small developers, small companies that,
yeah, that would benefit from it.
yeah, it's costing them a bunch to do anything like this. That whole Epic thing would not have happened if that was possible back then, right, Nick?
I possibly.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Personally, I'm looking for a great program that teaches me how to torture squirrels. So that's what I want. That's what I want to have somebody write.
Ask
Best way to
GPT.
torture squirrels and to get away with it. Squirrels are my nemesis. I'm like, they taunt me daily.
You know, I
Ask
went.
ChatGPT to help you.
That's it. That was a good idea.
Kathy, when was it? Thursday. Said, asked me to. Oh, are you using what color? What color
Isn't that
bottle?
great?
And
It's
he,
a blue bottle. Oh, this is really cool. But there you can
um,
see there's the logo, the princess logo on it. So
uh, Kathy said, you need to turn on the drip irrigation because we need to start watering the plants that I'm putting out. Okay. So I went and I hooked it up because I winterized it to take out the timers and stuff. And it comes on, but there's one section that's not coming on. I'm saying, what the hell? So I'm walking and walking. I hear water running. Wouldn't you believe that a squirrel got a hold of that rubber hose at one point and, I mean, chewed the hell out of it? What are they getting out of it, Spence? Are they
uh,
eating rubber?
there, there, I had
I
stored bird feed in one of those lawn boxes.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
started eating through it.
Yeah.
They jump
No,
onto my bird feeders. I don't know how they did. Must be like have jetpacks or something because they can run down a skinny little wire and get to it. I put domes over it. I've tried everything to keep them out of the bird feeders, and I come out and they're hanging upside down, eating from the bird feeders.
electricity.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I did try that. I had one of those. I had used it years ago when they were eating my lawn chairs
Mm-hmm.
to keep them off my deck, but the one I had just stopped working.
They're only like $20, $30.
Yeah.
Fence charge or whatever they call
John has a good comment in chat. Get a pet eagle. That could solve your squirrel problem.
it.
Get a falconary person.
That
Yeah.
would be good. I think
Bird
it
person.
would be a steep investment though.
Yeah. It's what you make it.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Are you allowed to have a pet eagle?
Maybe not an eagle,
I
but a
mean,
falcon.
No,
Sure.
probably not. The government,
Yeah.
I'm sure, has
Yeah.
some stupid ass regulation
Yeah.
against
Right.
that for some reason.
You can have a falcon.
Yeah.
Falconry isn't allowed. Certain raptors can be kept as sporting pets.
Oh. But
Interesting.
it's an interesting endeavor. I mean, it takes forever to, and you have to continue doing things to keep them
All right,
away.
Nick, I typed in, how do I get rid of annoying squirrels?
Okay.
And
We'll see what it comes back with.
Yeah. It'll
oh,
come back with a very long response.
how long does it take?
It doesn't take long, but it writes it out. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like it doesn't just dump all
Oh,
the text.
it's
It does
gone.
a write-in.
oh,
So far, it's the obvious things. Remove food sources, use repellents. They don't like strong smells. Install physical barriers. Tried it. Trap and release. I do actually have a heart trap. So I could take them on a long journey, which would be fun.
yep.
Call a professional. No, because they're just going to tell me, here's the list of things that you should do, which I already know.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a big box and just keep on putting more and more in there, and at the end of the day, take them all on a long journey.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
And if I can, I'll take them out to Jordan Lake and let them get out on the side of Route 64. Have fun. Bye.
All
Are they
right.
like dogs? Will they find their way back?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this before the specials. Um. Here's a here's a story. Blue Sky, the Twitter alternative backed by Twitter co-founder and CEO Jack Dorsey, has now rolled out to Android users. This is coming from ThinkFront. The app, which promises a future of decentralized social networking and choose your own algorithm, initially launched to iOS users in late February and remains in closed beta. The exclusivity is driving demand for the newer social network to come to some extent, but so is having Dorsey's name attached. Blue Sky aims to give users algorithmic choice, letting them eventually choose from a marketplace of algorithms that let them control what they see on their own feed instead of having it controlled by some central authority. Now, Nick, correct me if I'm not wrong, but can't you do exactly the same with Gap? What you
What
see and
control?
what you don't see? I can.
I mean, I guess so.
Oh,
I don't know how they're determined. I mean, you could block everybody that you don't want, but I mean, that's
but it's not an algorithm choice. It's
no, because I mean, here's
yeah.
if I if I don't want to see content, it's very hard to block it because I follow people, and if somebody retweets that a piece of
Mhm.
that content,
Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing to me has always been kind of odd.
Did you ever use Blue Sky? Oh no, well, you wouldn't because it's new in on the Android.
No, I don't have Android.
You don't have. Uh, you have an
I don't
iPhone?
have it. You just said it's for Android. I don't have an Android.
Yeah. No, it's already no. It was already released to iOS. It's
Okay.
now being released to Android.
And for what app is this?
Blue Sky. This is the
Blue Sky's an emulator app, isn't it?
Blue Sky, the Twitter alternative backed by Twitter co-founder Jack
Oh,
Dorsey.
no, I have no idea then. Never mind.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about Twitter. That's why I was so
no.
confused.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Good luck.
It's,
Good luck, Jack. Keep pissing away your money. More power to you.
oh, well. All right.
This guy's being proven to be more of a fraud and fraud over time. It's unbelievable. The kind of crap that he was giving the federal government access to. I mean, Jesus.
Oh, I guess he's saying, well, I could reinvent it now.
Yeah,
Uh,
go for it. Reinvent it now. Good job.
these days are gone. All right, you ready for specials?
Sure. At least I
Uh,
thought I was. Let me get my.
right.
Yep, there we go. I am ready.
And we're ready.
Katie, how pissed would you be if you're going out, enjoying your Friday night or a Saturday night? You go to your local arcade, you put $2 into this machine to get your one play, which is ridiculous in the first place, and the
Blue
damn
screen,
thing
huh?
blue screens. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, live
now
it.
you gotta argue with some bartender to give you your money back because they don't own the machines. It's some third party
Right.
company that's providing them. What a pain in the ass. So
$2 for that piece of crap?
Uh,
Dang.
well, and this is only a one person play.
Oh my gosh, nah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thanks Biden. This is the current state of the economy. All right, let's get into specials. Not the longest list, but we've got some pretty cool items on here today. Let's start over at Best Buy with a laptop pick. This is another Lenovo. This is a Lenovo Yoga. This is their kind of upper tier line of computers. This is a Yoga 6. It's a 13.3-inch laptop with a 1080p display. And the Yoga is the one that will completely flip onto its own self. So the hinge goes back enough where you can have it essentially act as a tablet as well. The specs on this thing, pretty impressive for the price. It's got an AMD Ryzen 7 5700U. So that's one of their top of the line mobile AMD chips. 16 gigabytes of built-in memory, which is a lot. And for some reason, still only a 512 gigabyte SSD. I don't understand why these computers aren't coming with a terabyte of storage. It's so cheap. I don't know why they're coming with 512. Normally, this laptop sells for $950. So after tax, you're spending close to $1,000. But it's on clearance over at Best Buy for $699. If you're a little bit more if you're a little bit more willing to take a risk, Best Buy has some open box versions of this, which is likely just open box. People just return them immediately. You can get an open box of this computer for a little over $500. So if that's something you're willing to take the risk on,
It's
obviously
still
it
the
still
same
comes with a
warranty, right?
It is, and the question is, why it was open box. Why is it open box? Open box is a very broad term. Open box could be you used it for 30 days, or open box could mean you opened it up and were like, oh, I don't want this anyway, and then brought it back. So you can check that out. You can view all of that on the link over at Best Buy's website. Next up, we go to Walmart and their brand of televisions, the ONN brand. This is a 65-inch Roku 4K smart TV. So it's got the Roku functionality built right in for $298. Sub $300.
That's
for a
amazing.
65-inch
That's
television.
amazing.
It's unbelievable. With this built in.
Look at the regular price.
Yeah, normally it's about $400. Yeah. So it's about a $70 or $80 deal. But the ONN brand is I think fine. It's not the most powerful television. If you're a really heavy smart TV user, you'll probably want an external device like the Roku 4K or something like that, just so that it's a lot snappier. But this is more than sufficient for your average TV user. $298 available over at Wally World. Next, we go to Woot, which is Amazon's wholesale company or website. This is a Ring video doorbell. This is the 2021 model, and it's the wired model as well. So you'll have to have your two-pair conductor in working shape from your previous doorbell. $20. Amazon refurbished, pretty cut and dry. $20 in and out with that, available from Amazon. Next up is the Wyze, and I know, Spence, you have a bunch of Wyze equipment, WYZE. This is their smart lock deadbolt system. Now, it's smart because it connects to your phone, but it is not smart in regards that it does not connect to Wi-Fi. So this thing uses Bluetooth to connect to it. I have one issue with this device, and I believe this, I didn't see another way around it. This does not have a key override. So I don't know how you, Now you can charge it externally. So if it dies, you can if you have a USB power bank, you can just charge it up enough you can plug it in to do it that way. So
I,
presumably that's your option for an override.
I think
But
it's on
that's
Slick Deals
funny.
because of this thing that's missing from it.
Well,
To be
no, well,
honest.
there's a lot that are
Yeah.
like this. There's a couple of these locks that don't have a key override, but they have the chargers externally.
Yeah.
Or there is something to charge it externally because it's powered with battery, but there's a little plug-in. So I don't know. Buyer beware. Here's the interesting thing about this. This is being sold from Chewy, the pet company.
Chewy?
Chewy,
Wait a
yes.
minute. I was just there. That's what it was?
Yeah, it's Chewy that's selling this. And the reason it's in specials is if you're a new customer to Chewy, which I've never ordered anything from Chewy, you get $20 off the first purchase of $49 or more. So you can get this thing shipped to your house. Just create a new Chewy account for $60.
I know why. I know why. Because so many pets figured out how to open the doors.
Yeah.
They needed a way now that you could say, make sure the door is locked so they can't get out.
Yeah. In all likelihood, the reason it's on Chewy is because of individuals having pet sitters or people coming over. So this is a lot easier to deal with than a key. But for $50, this is a pretty damn good deal. You might want to read a little bit about it in regards to it not having a manual override. So local only, no Wi-Fi connectivity, which is good. So if you're concerned about connecting your thing to an Wi-Fi and having it be corrupted or potentially being there being an issue with it, you don't have to worry about it with this one. And I'm not even sure that there's a bridge available to connect it to. So that's available for $60 over there.
A good solution if you have two entry points into a structure, you just want to set up a way for somebody to get in, like a pet sitter or somebody to get into your house. This is a great way to manage it inexpensively because this uses the actual existing deadbolt slide.
Yep.
It replaces the controls on that. You leave the weave. Well, actually, this should work with the external key.
No, because it replaces your deadbolt.
It replaces the outside too?
Yes, both. The outside, the picture you're looking at, the outside is the key print. So that goes on the outside. That inside unit with is the battery pack and the internal lock. So this will completely replace the deadbolt.
Yeah, I haven't seen what this looks like when it's installed.
Okay. Yeah. The keypad's on the outside of it. Next up, we'll go over to Amazon and the Furmax electric standing desk. I picked this one because this is a pretty large desk. The tabletop is 55 by 24. This is a large desk. The picture is very misleading. Those monitors are very tiny that they have on there. They look like they're about 19-inch monitors, which nobody is buying anyway. But it's a large desktop. The height adjustment on this goes from 29 inches to just over 48 inches. So you've got a pretty wide range there as well. This product is normally $250 and it is on sale for $133 on Amazon. So this is a pretty good price. 130 after tax, it'll be about $150 for a 55-inch standing desk. It's a really, really good deal. So check that out over at Amazon. For folks that are maybe fed up with using a webcam or in a position where you need something a little bit higher quality and you need to get it connected to your computer, there is not a better device to do this now than the Elgato Camlink. It looks like a USB drive with an HDMI port, and that's exactly what it is. You plug it into your computer, you connect a DSLR or anything else essentially with HDMI, and you can bring it right into your computer. You can use it on Zoom and Teams and streaming through vMix and all these different softwares, OBS, whatever it might be, and use a DSLR instead of a webcam. That's on sale for $99, 23% off, available over at Amazon. If you are a Costco member, this deal comes around pretty often. This is the Simply Safe Home Security Kit. This is the full kit. Comes with the base station, a keypad, one motion sensor, a panic button, a key fob, 4 entry sensors, and 1 HD security camera, plus 3 months of 24/7 professional monitoring. The Simply Safe gets you on the monitoring. It's about $30 a month, but you don't need it. You don't want to use it, you don't have to. But you get 3 months of it to start. $100, save 50%. It's normally a $200 kit. Again, you get the hardware for relatively cheap. They try to upsell you there on the service. Emma?
I screwed up. I just touched the. Come on. I touched the key
Ah,
with my elbow. There we go.
I wish I'd known about this deal. My daughter uses SimpliSafe and had to replace her base system because they changed their backhaul and they
yep.
changed, and so she had the older unit, which still works. It's just that it won't work with monitoring.
Mhm.
But she had to replace it, and she paid more than this to
Yeah.
get this kit.
This comes on sale a couple times a year for this
Yeah.
price. I almost didn't include it, but it's a pretty good deal if you're a Costco member. So you can check that out over there. This is a pretty good deal too. If you're okay being in the Google ecosystem, this is the Nest, which is owned by Google now, Wi-Fi router with a what they call a 1 point, which is essentially their extender. So you get the base unit router plus a point, which is the mesh wireless extension. They claim with these two units, you can cover an area of about 3,800 square feet. So, I mean, pretty much most homes, even if it's spread out, 3,800 square feet with the coverage in every single room. If you need more, you can get more points. I think these things will support up to 5 points. So you can have a blanket of Wi-Fi coverage. Pretty good deal. This unit itself with the router and the external base and the mesh system, this thing is normally $270, which is way more than it should cost in the first place. Nevertheless, it's on sale for $99. You can check that out over at Amazon. 63% off. A couple of final products rounding us out here this morning. Here is the Mophie. Mophie is a pretty popular brand. They make phone cases and screen protectors, and they've been doing so for a while now. This is a 2,000 milliamp power bank. It supports 18 watts USB-C power delivery, so you can charge a laptop, a tablet, any sort of high-power device with that. Plus, it has 2 USB Type A ports as well, so you get a plethora of connectivity with it. You charge it via USB-C, and then you can either power a USB-C device directly or use a regular A to whatever other side of cable, micro USB, Lightning, whatever it might be. This is normally a $60 kit, and with a promo directly on Amazon, you can get it for just $30. So pretty good deal on that. 20,000 milliamps available through power on that. So check that out. And then finally this morning, this is the Geniverse Home Power 102 watt hour lithium ion power station. Now, these things are pretty expensive. Typically, it's just essentially a bunch of lithium ion batteries in a power pack. And what you've got here on this unit is one that's got some pretty interesting features on it as well. So you charge it via you can charge it a couple of different ways, via either you can plug solar panels into it. You can power it directly from a 120 volt outlet, and then taking power out of it, you get 3 AC outlets, which are 110 volts at 1,000 watts, or a bunch of DC outputs, including 2 USB Type Cs, some USB Type As, and a 12 volt traditional cigarette lighter output as well. So if you're somebody that needs portable power, doesn't want to deal with the generator, there's a whole plethora of these. This one just happens to be on sale, available directly from Geniverse's website. This is normally $1,000. It's on sale for $674. It's $704 shipped to your house if you after you pay the tax on it. So if you're interested, check that out. All of these links are in the specials PDF, which is on the website now and will be through next Sunday. So if you see anything interesting, make sure you check it out, act on it. Because by the way, unlike when you did specials back in the day where sales were good for a week, these online sales,
Hours.
there was
Yeah.
it happened a couple weeks ago. I did the specials. I do them the morning of. So I started at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And by the time the show rolled around, one of the deals had already expired because there's no There's no time
Yeah.
code on them. They just randomly
Mhm.
expire. So
Time codes and stock.
yeah, and
So
stock
once
too.
it
So if
yeah.
you see something on there, act on it. If you wait, it's liable to either not be in stock or not be on sale. So that is all specials for today.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see. Katie, anything you want to talk about?
No, I was just super hyped about the game design conference.
All right.
Can't think of anything else.
Well, here is something else here. BuzzFeed is.
Oh yes.
Oh, you want to talk about
Uh-oh.
it? Go ahead. You talk
No, I
about it.
don't. I love this though. Please, it makes me so happy.
But yeah, but and it's stupid too. BuzzFeed is shutting down BuzzFeed News and laying off 15% of its employees, or about
Oh,
180 people.
Darn.
I'm crushed.
The CEO made the announcement in a memo on Thursday, and it's Variety reporting that going forward, that's the funny part. BuzzFeed will concentrate its news effort in a single profitable news organization, HuffPost.
Yeah. BuzzFeed
Wait.
News brought you so many great things, like the Trump dossier that was paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign. Yeah, those are some of the that's one of the great accomplishments of BuzzFeed News.
Uh,
Sayonara.
so it's HuffPost, which it acquired from Verizon in 2020.
Yep.
The company flagship BuzzFeed.com site will remain in place while layoffs are occurring across nearly every division. We're determined that the company can no longer continue to fund BuzzFeed News as a standalone organization. It's about time, yeah. I'm sure they couldn't feed it. They couldn't uh, provide service for it or money in a long time, and they probably took money from other places to keep it up. And now it's gone. Good.
Oh, they didn't sound like they provided anything anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, um, you remember? Not remember. You know about Proton
The
company?
the
Com- Company with Proton Mail. Like the
there's a couple different things called
oh
Proton. Yeah, Proton Mail, absolutely.
yeah. So Proton, the company behind Proton Mail, has announced the launch of a new password manager, Proton Pass. While the service will eventually become free for everyone to use, it's currently only available as a beta to Proton Lifetime and Visionary users for now. So here is another um, password concentrator, I call them. Something for scammers and bad actors to attack and get a lot of stuff. I think Gal's idea of hosting it yourself is a much better solution, just by the fact that who's going to attack? What else is here? Now, Amazon, we're talking about Amazon. Amazon has launched an anti counterfeiting exchange, ACX, an initiative to help retail stores label and track marketplace counterfeits as part of the e-commerce giant efforts to crack down on organized crime on its platform, the company announced on Thursday. So I think they tried that a few times. It is these people find their way in any way you whatever you do, they find their way in because that's how Amazon is making their money. So I don't know if I have any faith in them doing something like that. Now, a Facebook user, and almost everybody, even if you don't use it, Facebook users have until August to claim their share of 725 million class action settlement of a lawsuit alleging privacy violation by the social media company. And this is coming from a new website that's out there. The lawsuit was prompted in 2018 after Facebook disclosed that the information of 87 million users was improperly shared with Cambridge Analytica. People who had an active US Facebook account between May 2007 and December 2022 have until August 25th to enter claim. Individual settlement payment haven't yet been established because payout depend on how many users submit claims and
Gonna be
how
like
long each user maintain a Facebook account. What?
I was gonna say it's gonna be like 10 cents a person.
Well, Facebook
It ended up
users,
being nothing, is what happens.
yeah, the lawyers are making money.
Yeah,
Mm.
correct.
Facebook users can make a claim by visiting Facebook user privacy settlement.com. Facebook user privacy settlement.com and entering their name, address, email address, and confirming they live in the US and were active on Facebook between the aforementioned date. Active on Facebook doesn't mean that you are in there actually entering stuff and all that, just that your account was in good standing at the time. You know, they still asking you for the email address and your physical address. Oh, it's like a double-edged sword, but they should already have it. Why don't they just ask you for your Facebook username? I mean,
Because you don't have a username.
well, whatever account. That's your email address.
Yeah,
Why are they
but
asking?
but they don't have access to that.
Are you being
This isn't
sarcastic
Facebook
or?
doing this. No, how this isn't Facebook that's doing the settlement. This is a third party that's
Oh,
doing the
that's right.
lawsuit. So if
That's
you give
right.
them your
Yeah,
email
okay. Yeah.
address, that
Yep. Yep.
it's
Yep.
not like they're
You're
it's
right.
not like they're able to know exactly what's going on with it.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yep. 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 Okay. Okay.
Yeah, go earn your 60 cents.
Yeah, I saw that. I knew I missed the mark on this when I was watching local news this week and they brought it up and I was like, well, the fact that the local news is talking about it means that everybody has already applied for this, so it's likely not one that's worth my time worth my time at this point.
You
I
never
tell you
know.
what
You
though,
never know.
we did the AMD settlement back in the day. It was about
Yeah.
10 years ago. We got a settlement check from the AMD FX series. I think it was like $30.
Wow.
Which, is a lot of money in a settlement for
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
that you did nothing, literally nothing for.
Yep.
Actually, I think I have that check. I think.
Yeah. You don't uh cash it. You frame it and you hang it.
Oh, well, I deposited
Oh,
the
you did?
check. I just,
Oh.
yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I used mobile deposit. But at $30, I mean, I'm not going to let that. If it was like 18 cents, like Katie noted, I would have absolutely just framed it. But I'm not going to waste my time
No.
depositing an $18 check. But
And Katie, you oh, good morning, Mike.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Katie, you applied to Disney.
Yeah. Then they had the hiring freeze.
Disney plans to cut thousands of jobs next week, including about 15% of the staff in its entertainment division.
That's not surprising.
So you're you're lucky, I should say. There was another. What was the other company? Oh, Facebook, because you
Yeah.
applied there too. Yeah,
Yeah, I was interviewing with Amazon and Facebook
yeah,
and
and
everybody.
they're
But
all cutting.
this was when they were all doing like right before the layoffs, so
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me.
What's happening, Mike?
Oh, I was just trying to figure out what's going on with Logitech and their webcams. I used to be able to zoom in and zoom out and change things. Then all of that crap disappeared.
Spence will tell you because he was
I
doing
will.
it. Didn't
I'm
you
ha-
just use?
yeah, I'm going to use mine right now. I thought it still worked.
I mean, look
You,
at mine. Look at
wait
the
a
wash. Look
second.
how
I
mine's
thought.
washed out.
Yeah, I had trouble with the latest Windows update where all my settings disappeared and I had to go in and readjust it.
I
But
don't know
now
how.
let's see. My Zoom is working.
Well, mine sort of is too, because I just, after not messing with it for a long time, I did a search and found a program from Logitech called C22 Pro Stream Webcam Control. I installed it and it seems to be working, but I mean, look at which side am I, see how this is all washed out over here?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
It's too bright or
Mike,
too much
what
gain.
I had the same issue. I'd have a shiny forehead or whatever. And what I did was I took some smart bulbs, color changeable smart bulbs,
Yep.
and I'm sitting in a almost dark room now. And I have them pointing at the wall where my behind my monitors, and I'm sitting in green light right now. And that's how I can bring out the best colors and make it look good. It's weird. It's just, but I have the same app, the HD Pro Webcam 620 control or 920 control, and it's so they dumbed it down. I mean, it's just it doesn't have as many settings as it used to have, and so
Well, when I stopped being on the show as much, one of the reasons is because I couldn't even control my webcam. They all disappeared, and I would try different things. You would install it, it would work. Then you come back in the next day, and it's all gone, or it has actually gone to a dumbed down version with things that you can't control. And I don't really have much need for video anymore. Anyway, we used to do Zoom calls all the time for business and what have you, and political things,
Hey,
and that has sort of gone away.
Well, Mike, you and I talked this week about webcams, and it's the reason. And I don't know if you saw the specials, but I
yeah.
put that cam link in there. This is the reason why. If the webcams are just they're so inconsistent, no matter what you do with them. That's why so many folks have jumped and are now using $99 DSLRs on Amazon with these cam links because it's such a better experience.
Well, keep in mind, way, way, way back when, that I am not a video guy. I know a little bit about audio, but I don't know anything about video. And you guys used to say, Mike, what are you doing for your video? You used to look at my video, and oh, it was
Yeah.
awesome. And it was just a C9, it was a C910 webcam, 720p webcam. I did absolutely nothing, did no special lighting, which I don't understand. So whatever. I'm gonna go turn the room light on.
Try.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna.
still use an old Logitech 9000, which was one of their first HD cameras.
Mhm.
I don't know that it has the onboard encoding or not, but it's still a great camera. I mean, I use it for Zoom meetings off of a laptop. We have a monthly family call, and I use it for that. And people, oh, wow, what kind of web? Because everybody else is using the cam inside their laptop,
Mhm.
and it's terrible. And the audio too. I keep telling them, here's what you can do if you buy a better webcam that has a decent microphone in it.
Tell you what, man, connect to a Zoom from your iPhone, and it's a pretty hard experience to beat. The camera on the iPhone in the
When I was
microphone built in is so good. It's
I
it's
host
pretty
these Zoom
unbelievable.
I host these Zoom meetings, and at one time I was away, and Pam had to host it herself. She used my iPad, and they were like, "What a great experience it was."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing that you connect from your phone, and you are likely to have a better experience than from
Yeah.
any modern laptop, any cheap laptop you buy. And Spence, you and I bought those Lenovo's. The webcams on that are freaking garbage.
I don't use
they're
it.
just
I don't use
they're
it.
trash, which is fine. I mean, I don't care. I don't use it for that, but it's amazing that a modern laptop, even a cheaper one for $400 or $500, comes with a seemingly a VGA resolution style webcam.
Well, look at my video
And
now. I mean, I'm playing with it a little bit.
yeah,
It's not
improving.
bad. I mean, if I had more hair, I'd have less shiny forehead, but
But
that's not an
your
option.
but your shirt now is black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Let me talk and see it now. I'm not seeing pop up on. Okay, that's because I'm not looking at the stream.
Yeah, the
I'm just
light.
doing the full screen.
Yeah.
I don't care what color. I mean, even Spence's shirt looks black now.
It is black.
Nick,
But
yeah,
here's my
that
here's my invisible water bottle here. That's
that
great.
link thing in the special.
Yeah.
How much do you know about these devices?
The cam link?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I
Okay,
know,
so
yeah.
does
need?
it
What do you wanna know?
have the program to control the DSLR camera?
No,
Or
you
do you
can't
have to
control it
use
via
the
HDMI.
camera? So you have to use the camera itself to adjust the brightness.
Well, okay, so hold on. There, two different things.
Yeah.
You can you adjust the settings on the camera. Does the unit itself have brightness and contrast and all of that? Yes.
Okay.
But all of that is post the video signal entering in. So what you want, you do all of that on your camera
Yeah.
itself. And then if there's an issue, for example, this is where what you're describing right now is the built-in contrast and brightness and all of that is good if you're using something that's not a camera. For example, let's say you're running your cable box into this to record a show.
Mhm.
Well, obviously your cable box doesn't have a brightness and contrast
Right.
feature. And if the video is really dark, you use it for that. But you would want to adjust all of the settings on the camera itself, which is what you do.
Yeah, that's the thing is in even here. I mean, yeah, vMix has all kind of settings, but you want
But
to
again,
get
it's
the
all
camera.
post.
But
Yeah.
so you want the camera to be right, and then you may be able to just tweak a little bit with vMix.
I would recommend doing as little tweaking on the
Yeah.
on the physical device as possible. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
the
go
thing-
into
I think the only
I can go into mine right now and I can do this with my camera, but it's not, I mean, none of that is adjusted on the camera. That's all post.
Yeah.
That's all post into this. Now I can adjust the white balance, here. I can make myself look like that or look like this. But, you still want to do
Yeah.
it on the camera itself.
Yeah, I think the only thing that you have to adjust in vMix is the green screen. The
Well, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
post. That's
right.
a post. But
Yeah.
but you'd have a good green screen, and
Yeah.
Spence's was dealing with this.
Yeah.
To have a good green screen, you need to have your camera be able to interpret the
Right.
green screen
Right.
in a good manner. If your camera's all blown out, the chroma key is only going to look so good or so bad.
It's
Yeah.
interesting how with this iteration of with this last Windows update, notice I don't have a missing boom
Right.
anymore.
Yep, you don't.
But see, you're
What
using the Zoom.
changed?
Aren't you using the Zoom chroma key?
Yes. No,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah, I
saying
was
is
gonna say,
before
yeah.
that, this whole section here in my boom was missing. You couldn't
Yeah.
see it. So now all of a sudden now with the latest Windows update, it's okay.
And that's likely because of the webcam changing some settings when you
Yeah. So,
update.
and that's why I had to redo everything using the Logitech app because everything got blown up.
Webcams are great. They're good for quick things. If you're looking for consistency, it's just not
No.
there.
Don't
never
forget
has been.
back. Remember when Chase was doing? I don't even know if he still streams or not. But remember when he was doing his stuff, he was using those Microsoft webcams. His stream was stellar.
I was
mean-
using these for a while. I mean, I
Oh.
tried all kind of different ones. Yeah.
I've got one. The only annoyance with that was the auto zoom would say you could. It's hard to turn it off, and when it was on, it would just constantly be refocusing.
You have to
But other than that, the quality was great.
you have to consistently nurse it.
Yes.
That was the problem. The consistency. It wasn't there. So before every broadcast, you have to sit there and play with it and adjust it and
Yeah.
and until you get it right. And then But the next time you come, oh, it's messed up again.
Chase, what's Chase's last name?
You Nunes? No.
Yeah, Chase Nunes.
Yeah.
I mean, his stuff looked, at least to the average person, it looked every bit as good as Leo Laporte's.
So So, Mike, good to see you. What's keeping you busy?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I've been unemployed for a little over a year, and then I was in a business for about a year, and I'm now out of that. Now I'm trying to catch up for the stuff that's been on my desk for the last 20 years.
I've been trying to deal with I have emptied my office, cleaned out my office like 3 times in the last couple of years, and I still have a closet full of stuff.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and clean.
I've taken more stuff to Habitat.
I mean,
Pickup truck worth of stuff.
I would scan this camera around. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, to be fair, most of the stuff's taken out the room now is stuff that I have packaged into boxes so that I can store them and know exactly where they are and everything's all together. I mean, it's done exactly the way it ought to be. It's taken up a third of the room. I don't even know where to put the boxes.
You got a big room there too.
Well, you ought to see the rest of the house, but I mean, I've just got to find a place to store this stuff.
Oh,
Nick
yeah.
has seen it. I thought he was going to call Child Protective Services.
What?
My house.
Why would I have called CPS on your house? Because I was there.
Yeah. Because my grandkids come to visit.
The HOA, the HOA.
Well, the HOA only worries about the outside. So.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, pretty soon they'll be doing insides too.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. They had, whenever I don't know to be telling this, but when they gave me some crap about 3 or 4 years ago, they did some things that made me really mad. And so whenever I did my profile somewhere where they see it, I put on there that I was an attorney specializing in HOA litigation.
Yeah,
Which is not true, but it was not an official forum. So,
would you put that on your next door? You put that on your next door profile?
I don't remember where it's probably. Seems like it was probably, but and boy, what a disaster that place is.
Yeah, next door is interesting. You know, I get emails from them. I think I have the app installed. I don't use it very often. But every once in a while, there's stuff that pops up on Nextdoor that doesn't make it to the local Facebook pages. It's like it'll be stuff like, you know, I see smoke over here, something like that. That's just not enough to make it into a Facebook page. But
yeah, around here it's all about copperhead snakes.
Somebody posted about a snake this morning on Facebook. I saw.
Yeah, they're out there in great numbers this year.
They're saying that Wake County has the largest per capita of copperhead snakes of probably anywhere in the country.
Only because they don't know what a copperhead looks like.
No, these people don't. No. You go and you post a picture of it, and there are about 14 people will say, "Oh, don't kill it. I'll come get it. I'll come get it."
For what?
To rehome it.
Oh gosh.
These people are crazy.
I guess I'm moving. I hate snakes.
I have a neighbor that keeps a straight blade shovel. He lives on the Greenway, and he keeps it out there just because he'll see snakes. He'll just kill them right there. He sees them sunning themselves on the Greenway.
Pretty soon that'll be a federal offense.
Probably. Now that I said it, they're going to go after him.
There's plenty of golf courses in Raleigh, so hopefully they can't track him down.
Yeah. Well,
is that an OJ joke?
What?
Never mind.
I get it.
He did nothing wrong. The legal battle, he won. The glove didn't fit, so I mean.
Hey, on a different note, did anybody watch the SpaceX launch this week?
I did.
I was disappointed, but they were pretty optimistic, saying, you know, we basically got the telemetry we needed. Yeah, we had an unscheduled, what do they call it?
Explosion.
Unscheduled dynamic
incident.
Disassembly.
Yeah, that's what they called it. Yeah,
Disassembly.
Wait, what happened? Did it explode?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But they at the first stage went to the end, and they were switching over to the second stage, and the second stage never lit, so it eventually exploded. So they had a problem.
And I saw it only on a video, and I was watching, and the minute it exploded, everybody was clapping hands and yay!
Oh.
And then they were showing him sitting there, and there was Elon Musk sitting there, and he looked kind of baffled. But
What's a billion among friends?
the
Well, and it's interesting because some obviously Elon Musk is the enemy of the people now. I mean, everybody, they're coming after, they're coming for his ass like anybody else's. So anytime they can try and like, oh, look at this guy, look at what happened. But obviously, goes to show you the culture of SpaceX, and we have a good friend that works there, and I'm not going to get into any details on it, but that's the culture of a company like SpaceX. Of we're going to try something. It's going to be revolutionary, and it might work and it might not. And we're not going to destroy the entire company because of it. I think that was about 4.5 minutes into its flight before it
a
exploded.
little over almost 4 minutes. Yeah.
Almost 4 minutes. Yeah. And it did significant damage to the launch pad too. It practically
I saw that.
destroyed
Their
the launch pad because it was
their
so
refueling
hot.
tanks are riddled with shrapnel.
Yeah. So there was a lot of data that they were trying to get out of that. So obviously, of course, they're going to spin it as it was a success. And
well,
it
I
probably
mean,
was.
it's
Look
not
at
like
the Starship. They had
Yeah.
like the first 4 or 5 launches of Starship. They might have even come back and landed, but they exploded when they landed.
Yeah.
So it's like anything else. You got to test it, and you got to do a dynamic test.
Simulations are only so good.
Yeah.
and
Well, they
NASA
are.
is not without errors either.
What's not?
NASA.
No, of course not. I mean, look
Yeah.
at look at all the
Right.
situations
Right.
of astronauts getting blown to bits and
Yep.
on re-entry. Yeah, I mean, it happens.
The operation was a success, but the patient died.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I-
a pretty
I-
cool launch. Amazing to see the media coverage of it is so laughable.
I got on the comments, and there were other people like me to say, I can't believe I'm alive to see this, because back when like Mike and I and Amnon were kids, rocket space travel was shown exactly the way it is now, where the rockets would come back and land. And they just, oh, that'll never happen. It's not possible. It's got to be reusable rockets with reentry and all this other stuff. And you just can't believe that this is happening. And
Hold on a second,
one
Spence.
guy and I were going back and forth to say we were both on the beach watching Apollo 11 take off, because we were commenting about how some people who are there down in Texas watching the launch were, oh, this is so exciting and all this stuff. And it's amazing that I'm here. And then the one guy said, hey, I was on the beach watching Apollo 11. I said, oh, I was too. And it was just really cool because we were between us commenting back and forth about how
Nick, you were
amazing
gonna-
this is.
You were going to say?
I was gonna say, it's amazing how none of this stuff was seemingly possible when NASA was doing it, right? They wouldn't even comprehend this idea because there's
Yeah.
no, it's just there's no incentive to really innovate or do anything with it. We'll just get more money and we'll fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. And then private sector gets involved, which is crazy that private sector's in space travel. And they're like, well, hell, can't afford to be blowing $1 billion every time we do a rocket launch. Let's figure out how to land this damn thing somewhere. And they did.
And look at the difference between going with a startup and going with Boeing.
Yeah.
Boeing has failed miserably. They can't get a budget. They can't. I mean, there's all these things that are wrong with. I forget what their project is called. Artemis.
No, Artemis is
That's
Bezos'.
the concept. But I think what part of the launch vehicle, some part of the launch vehicle they do,
Yeah.
and it's a big deal. I mean, and yeah, it's amazing.
So yeah, pretty cool. I think there was some talk, and it's not official talk, but I was watching a YouTube video, and they indicated within maybe the next 4 or 5 months that they could be ready to go again and do another launch, which sounds like a long time. But the reality of being able to do another launch of this within a 4-month period of time is absolutely remarkable.
Well, Amazon's backed up on rocket boosters.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he'll have to call his buddy over at his buddy over at
Does
Amazon.
Bezos actually sell boosters? His own boosters?
He probably does.
Yeah, Prime today. They're storing them at a facility in Durham. They're hanging out in a hangar in Durham today.
How do they deliver it to one of those little local bins? Would that be a problem?
Well, no, they have those the land crawlers, the things that NASA has that go about a mile a day will come and deliver it to your house.
Oh,
Anyway.
I love the space program. When I was a kid, it was everything. I mean, I watched everything from the first Mercury flight
Yeah, I
You know
was
what's
through Gemini, and
it's interesting though that for my generation, I'm 26, and you had the what was the thing that NASA did in like 2011, 2012 with Mars? The rover. That was a pretty big thing. Not as big as obviously the stuff that you guys saw, but you'll have an entire generation now of kids that are probably 6, 7, or 8 years old that will get that same thing, and it's because of Elon Musk and SpaceX, not because of NASA. I have really no tie to space at all. It just wasn't a thing, and there was
yeah,
nothing going on
I highly
besides the Challenger
recommend.
blowing up.
There's a BBC documentary, a podcast that you can listen to. You can watch it on YouTube also, and it have some graphics. But it's called 13 Minutes to the Moon, and it is all about. And it's actually got a second season now coming out. But it's all about the Apollo 11 or the Apollo program and what led up to Apollo 11 landing. And they go into all kinds of details that were just not widely known about the. It's so well done. I mean, it's in maybe 40-minute increments. And I learned things that I didn't really understand before. So the average age of one of the ground controllers in the control room was 27.
oh my God.
And they said there were kids, 20-year-old kids. The kid who, remember the program call when they had the error on the landing computer? Well, the guy that had to look up the code to say it was okay, he was 23.
Wow. Which now help me here. Which one went to the moon? 11?
11 was the first one to land.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure your podcast is cool, but do you have the vinyl recording of the control room man on the
No.
moon? Because this is a collector's edition. It's literally just the mission control audio on a two-sided vinyl.
The other
Well-
thing I learned from the podcast was that they each individual discipline, they called it, maybe I'm saying, had its like engineering, health, of what do you call it, the human, what all those things had their what they call their own loop, and they were all broadcasting over each other. So if you had the guys who the flight surgeon, you had the whatever the different discipline was, they were all talking at the same time. And these guys had to learn how to hear what they needed to hear. It was incredible to think about how, and they played the audio of it. And you hear like 6 conversations going on at the same time. And they learned how to do it. The guys because like, who was the famous director? You always hear him. He's interviewed they had the Houston oral history effort go on, and they recorded the stories of a lot of these people who are now gone, which is fascinating. But he would have to hear like 7 different feeds in his ear and be able to distinguish between each one.
You talk about these kids running mission control. Talk about the ultimate video game.
Yeah.
Well, as crazy as that sounds with Apollo 11, I mean, that's essentially what Elon Musk's got at SpaceX. I mean, our friend Sean is over there, and I mean, everybody in that company is under 35. There's very few people. It's a young industry. It's that's the industry.
I went to the Kennedy Space Center a couple months ago. That place, absolutely amazing.
You just stand under the Saturn V.
Yeah, if anybody has the opportunity, go. Even if you think like you don't like museums or whatever, it's a whole experience. Like it's almost like a theme park, without the rides. But they have these big buildings, and like when I saw the space shuttle, can't remember which one it was called, but the way that you walk in and they play this movie or like surrounding, and then when they reveal the space shuttle, it like looks like it's coming at you, and then they throw the screen up and boom, it's right there. It's so amazing. And the how big, the vast size of everything is mind blowing. And they have rockets, they're suspended above your head so you can walk under them. It's absolutely insane. And then they have a whole SpaceX building, or I wouldn't say it's not SpaceX specifically, but it's like the current rockets and future rockets, and they have a huge SpaceX rocket on the ceiling that's hanging, and then they have like a Boeing section. They have like different sections that you can walk up to and look. The only thing I was peeved about is they had no area where you could touch it. And I'm like, this thing went out to space and it survived like zero gravity and all this crap and coming back in and out of the atmosphere and we can't touch it. Like,
Bring a ladder with you. What do you mean? I mean,
oh,
what's the worst thing that happens?
I was very frustrated. I'm a textile or textile person or whatever, tactile person. And they're like, don't touch anything. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, this stuff's decommissioned anyways. Why would you let me touch it?
Well, you know, the original space capsule that John Glenn went up in back in 62 or 3 or 4, whenever it was, either is or was on display at the Smithsonian.
Yeah, there's a good, in that main lobby, they have a lot of good stuff. Space capsules, they have the Soyuz, a Soyuz and an Apollo. I don't know if they're mock-ups, but they have that on display. And
Where were you when Apollo 11 was shot off?
Down on Cocoa Beach, standing on the causeway.
I didn't see you. There was an you remember there's an observation deck.
I wasn't that close. Yeah.
Oh, well, we were on the observation deck, which was, as I was told, 7 airline miles from the launch pad. And you might as well have been at the launch pad. This thing was so loud and so, I mean, you could see everything. We thought, why are we wasting our time? But we were there, and then we went on down to Miami and watched them walk on the moon live. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it?
Yep. I remember the just coverage I started watching was like 11 o'clock East Coast time. Then when my dad planned a trip to Florida to coincide with the launch, and we headed down the same thing to I was in Miami, Mike, visiting my uncle.
I didn't see you,
I didn't see you. And then we came back to New York, and I went to work with my dad the day that they had the ticker tape parade for the astronauts in Manhattan. And I didn't see them in Manhattan. I saw them on a road, the Van Wyck Expressway, where everybody was standing on the sides of the expressway where their motorcade went past. So I got to see them there afterwards.
Well, what was one of the most exciting things to watch in this whole space program thing? Let's see if you zone in on this. There's about a 20-minute period of time that was more exciting other than the actual firing of the rocket to make sure it got up into the air. What was the most exciting thing that we would watch on TV with bated breath?
Splashdown?
Nope.
Nope.
The blackout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was this, when they were doing reentry, there was a certain period of time during which we'd lose all communications with the capsule. And you'd sit there waiting and to see if they would be able to reestablish communications, because you didn't know whether the capsule was burning up in the atmosphere.
And you hear the guy calling out on the radio, Apollo 11, do you read me? Apollo 11, do you read me? And finally they'd hear it and everybody would cheer.
That's still, I mean, the blackout period is still, I mean, it's still, it wasn't even
ionization. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Even communications now, 70 years
if you
later,
re-enter the way a Musk rocket does, there's no ionization because they don't go through What's that? Yeah. The controlled descent. Yeah. What they do is they slow it down, and then they don't drop through the atmosphere at speed. They actually control the speed. They have a single engine that does the atmospheric reentry. And then when it gets closer to the ground, they use however many engines they need to actually land. But one last thing I wanted to say about the podcast, something I didn't know or didn't appreciate before, is they said, just like at SpaceX, they said having all those young people working on the program, they said it was amazing because they didn't know you couldn't do it. That's what they said was the single biggest thing they brought. They didn't know you couldn't do this stuff. The older people were like, I don't know how we're going to get away with it. Young people didn't know. They thought, whoa, just tell us what we need to do and we'll do it.
I did it on my video game and it worked fine.
Yeah.
The only difference between you guys and me, I know you said Mike and Amnon and I lived through it, but only on the radio. It was just listening to what's going on. You never, you didn't have a TV.
I don't know whether you young ones will appreciate this, but if you haven't seen the movie Apollo 13, isn't 13 the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Watch it. And the strange thing about it is there's actually a documentary out there produced. I don't know if it was by NASA, but it certainly participated in. The movie is extremely accurate. It's very unusual, but it's very, very accurate. And it's a lot more entertaining to watch than the documentary. But if you want to see, this is sort of a political statement. You'll appreciate this, Nick. Excuse me.
Now, hold on. Are you talking about Apollo 11, the one that came out just a couple of years ago, or the 13? The one that
The
came out in
Last
90s?
Man was really a bad movie. Or
No.
First Man.
What I'm talking about is
Yeah.
25 years old or more.
Yeah, it came out in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fantastic. But it's kind of a political statement when you see people standing on the corner begging or sitting at home because they've got a broken fingernail and they can't work. This movie really brings it home because, in my opinion, the movie shows mankind at its greatest.
That's another thing they talk about in that documentary, saying for each controller that was sitting at a desk looking at a screen in that room, there were 5 or 6 other people in direct communication with them in the background with all the manuals. What do I do? Here I have this code. I have this challenge. That's what they were listening to. If they had something they couldn't figure out, there was somebody there to help. And they weren't alone.
All right, let's get back to Earth. I think
Well, I have a technical question before you get done, Amnon.
Yeah.
I asked Nick about it. He wasn't very helpful.
Sure.
I need to come up with a 3-camera shoot, and I don't want to spend a fortune.
I was helpful. Now, hold on a second. My recommendation was, if you want something, DSLRs and cameras, that's not cheap, I understand, or webcams that likely will all look different no matter what you try to do.
My question about the webcams was, back whenever we were doing all this stuff years ago, I mean, we were kind of pioneers in the streaming community with regard to webcams and things of that nature. Back then, you couldn't switch between webcams because the drivers couldn't tell the difference between which camera. You had to get a C910,
Right.
a C920, a C922 to be able to differentiate between the cameras.
They could, but there was always glitches, and you're trying to go to this one, and bang, something is completely hung at that point. Many a times we had.
Sorry.
No, I would say that the cheapest way is the way that I'm doing it now. I'm still using video cameras, the ones that take a tape in them, the little tape.
Camcorders.
You're using DV cams.
Okay, and you can get them used for less than $100 today, but you're going to need to get cables. You're going to get converters, which are not expensive, like $30 a piece, and you need to get a capture.
Yeah.
Card.
Mike, what's the environment look like? Fixed cameras?
No. It needs to be semi-portable.
GoPros.
I would love
GoPros.
to have.
GoPros. You can have GoPros on hand sticks and people walking around with them, and you can shoot.
Let me back up.
If you can do linear, is it live or linear edited?
It's a talking head thing. I've got a friend who wants to do a video podcast. What he wants to do is he wants to interview a very famous person that I would like to see interviewed and have the questions that he's asked recorded for posterity. They would be happy with a single webcam and using webcam mics, but I'm not going to let that happen. I will have the audio part I've got under control, but I want to be able to have person 1, person 2, both people, 3 shots, just to keep it from being boring.
So
Nick,
it's going to be dynamically edited as you do it, switch cams to the final.
Yeah,
edit?
yeah.
All right, so it's not like you can do linear editing later.
Nick,
Well, that's a different question.
Wait, Nick, which capture card are you using?
I'm using the Black Magic, but that's only one input.
Or
So
that's
if you're
one
doing 3
input, but
cameras.
Isn't there a multi-camera USB
No.
or HDMI?
I found a used Magwell for $350.
Magwell or an AGA are going to be your best bets for
AHA.
multi-camera. Yep, one of those two.
AHA.
AJ,
AJA, yeah.
AJA.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, and that's now you and you asked the question, and I know that you didn't like the answer on it, but I meant it when I said it. You asked about, what about using the USB on multiple things? It all depends on the computer.
Right.
Every single computer handles USB devices by the same manufacturer and same brand differently. It depends on the USB chipset that's built into the computer. If it's a higher end chipset, it might handle it differently. If it's a lower end chipset, it might handle it differently. There's no way to know until you try it.
All right.
That's always been the issue with USB.
Here's the final question, because I'll contact you guys later about some specifics. Final question: is there such thing as a laptop that's powerful enough to do this?
You would need now what you could do is if you wanted to do it on a laptop, the solution would be to get something, and I hadn't thought about this before, but you could get a small Black Magic switcher, a multi-camera external switcher just for the video, and then do all of your graphics and software. That is your true portable solution.
All right,
you can get these switchers for about $300, and
keep
then
that in mind. We'll talk about that offline, but keep that in mind, because that sounds more like what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and then and a lot of folks do this, and you see a lot of portable switching doing this. And then they use software like Control Central that our friend Joe DeMax makes to control the two different units at the same time. And everybody's making these portable switchers now. ATEM makes them, Black Magic, Roland, the audio company, even makes them.
I like Roland.
So yeah, that might be a better.
All right, that's all for me. I just wanted to drop in and say hello.
Well, hi.
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 There's you and gosh, a whole day, Nick.
Hi.
There's this company called RGB Link. Don't know anything about them. They make a 4-input HDMI switcher, and it's selling on Amazon normal price for $195. And that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
The technology is
and
there,
it uses
absolutely.
USB-C to connect to the computer. So technically you could feed it in as an input. Interesting.
My first video experience was in high school, where they had a TV studio for the district in the basement of my high school. And I was on the AV squad that got to use you'll remember this stuff, Mike. Sketchel Carlson was the name of the company. They made, I'm not saying it right, but Stromberg Carlson.
Stromberg was the telephone.
That's it. Yeah, but they made switching consoles for video. And we had the old fashioned cameras that rolled around on the big stand, and it was all black and white. But you had buttons and what they called a superimposing split stick that you'd press A on one side and B on the other side, and you'd slide the handle back and forth, and you could superimpose by splitting the handle. And oh gosh, it was so archaic. The cameras had tubes.
Yeah.
How far, but the point is, it's just so amazing what you can do now. I remember after I graduated from high school, I went back one time, and they had just bought new Sony cameras that were much smaller color. And it was amazing to see the difference in how much hardware they didn't have anymore.
All right, so back to Earth and what's happening these days. We talk history enough, I think.
Tuesday.
Here's something to worry about. Across the software development field, founders are experiencing an income tax season that has become an existential threat to their company's survival. Software startups say that they were blindsided by shocking tax bills as a result of a change in law related to research and development costs. And if Congress does not provide a retroactive fix, business failures will spread throughout the industry. Nick, did you talk about something like this on your show?
No.
Is this related to the change in the way independent contractors are handled?
Changed in the way of the change in tax law.
And that was a tax law change that affected the independent contractors.
That's affecting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
And
knows? The IRS can't figure out what the hell they want to do. They want to charge your Venmo transactions, and they change their mind last minute. I mean, who knows? I'm pissed. I owed the federal government like
it is just
$3,000.
it's like they're shooting from the waist.
Yeah, of course they are.
It's a shame. Now, if you're a Mac user, we have news for Mac. Security researchers are examining newly discovered Mac ransomware samples
Oh,
from
boy.
the notorious gang Lockbit, marking the first known example of a prominent ransomware group toying with the Mac OS versions of its malware. It was spotted by a malware hunter team. The samples of ransomware encryptors seem to have first cropped up in the malware analysis repository Virus Total in November and December 2022, but went unnoticed until last week. Lockbit seems to have created both a version of the encryptor targeting newer Macs running Apple processors and older Macs that run the Apple's PowerPC chip. So they're finally paying
All the way back
attention.
to PowerPC?
Yeah.
Damn.
I guess it was an easy, maybe change something and we can hit them too. A lot of people are
Yeah.
still using PowerPC.
Well, I mean,
it's
the
fine.
Mac ecosystem continues to hold on to its value
Yeah.
at such a ridiculous
Yeah.
rate that, I mean, you still buy a 10-year-old Mac for $400, $500.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's
Interesting.
that's bad.
I was told Macs can't get
Right.
viruses.
That's what we were always told. That's right. What worries me about this is because these days the Macs run a sort of Linux kernel, and if they
What do you
can-
mean?
the Mac OS is
Well, it's always been based on Unix,
yeah, but I mean,
but now they're building their own. They have their own A series chips, the A5, the A6. I don't know what they're up to now,
yeah, I want to
and they're the same architecture for both the phone and the computer. That was their big thing.
And the only other thing is that Netflix is planning a broad rollout of the password sharing crackdown that it began implementing in 2022. They said that first quarter of its 2023 earning report, they said the paid sharing plan that Netflix has been testing in a limited number of countries will expand to additional countries in the second quarter, including the United States. So it's coming. Because I know I talked to Hannah and I talked to some other people and said, I still share it and they didn't raise my price. Well, yeah, it's because of the internet, everybody thought, oh yeah, it's already hitting there. No, it did not hit us yet.
They
So
keep
it's-
the same thing like the IRS. They keep
Yeah,
changing.
changing.
I mean, this was supposed to be done like
Yeah.
I swear to God, we
Right.
talked about this over a year ago.
Right.
This all comes down to there's no good way to do this.
Well, I hope there is no way to do this, but I know they're going to come. A lot of people are going to be pissed.
They'll
A
figure
lot
out a way. They'll eventually figure out a way, but no matter what they do, it's going to be it's going to be a problem.
They need to ask ChatGPT.
I mean, they could.
No.
It doesn't hurt to try, right? I mean, you got to do something.
All right. Well, it's that time of day again.
It
Did
is.
somebody answered Eleanor about the snakes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to put that in there. Mike, what was it? It's Wake County, the highest per capita.
That's what I heard. But it was on next door, so I'll take
Yeah.
it with a grain of salt. But
Oh, yeah, that's right.
supposedly it's Wade County has the highest per capita of copperhead snakes in the country. The county has the highest per capita.
We could put a sign up on it. Welcome to Wake County, the highest per capita copperheads in the country.
Well, and no, all joking aside, if the people are serious about it, and they've even had examples of two things. Number one, before you let your dogs out, actually scan your yard, particularly your steps, And same thing for you before you take a step out on your brick or steps, because there are instances of people who have been bitten by copperheads. Believe it or not, most dogs recover. And if you don't get immediate medical treatment as a human, then it could be a real bad problem. I mean, the anti-venom, I think, is something like $20,000 just for the treatment.
Yeah.
Now, again, that all came from next door, so I'd take it with a grain of salt. They're really a
Right.
bunch of kooks.
Yeah, and that's why when I was saying, because they don't know what it's like, there's a lot of them that are shit. Look at the copperhead. So that's not a copperhead, guy. This is blah blah blah. Yeah, but they are pretty. They're pretty snakes. All right. Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
No, sir.
All right. Well, let's wind it down then. Thanks, Nick, Katie, Spence, Mike. Thanks for the appearance.
Sure.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dina, Mati. Did I say Katie? Katie's already here.
No problem.
Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And remember to change any password that you are using the same on 2 different sites. Don't use them like that. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington, 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and commentary show. You can always tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave, or you can always go to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection Podcast on Twitch. That's for survival game and gaming news and political commentary. Great show. Tuesday, 7 p.m., twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. We'll be back together with you next Sunday.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.